This is Duke University.
Are you excited, Duke? Yeah! Welcome to the 2010 Duke Startup Challenge Grand Finale event.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a big night for entrepreneurship at Duke. Tonight is a celebration of the best and the biggest entrepreneurial ideas on campus this year. Tonight, we will reveal the grand prize winner of the 2010 Duke Startup Challenge.
Woohoo! I'm Shalif Gupta. I'm the co-president of the Duke Startup Challenge and a second-year MBA student here at the Fuqua School of Business.
And I'm Vatsala Kabra. I'm a senior in Trinity this year, and I'm one of the other co-presidents for the Duke Startup Challenge.
So we actually have a lot of exciting stuff lined up for you here tonight. Vatsala, tell me, what are you most excited about?
I'm excited for a lot of things, Shalif, but I'm definitely most excited for these Thunder Six. And to show you all how excited I am, let's practice, guys.
All right. Thunder Sticks, everybody! Woo! Woo!
All right, guys.
Brilliant. These guys are good, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, you needed that practice because tonight you get plenty of opportunities to use your Thunder Sticks. All right, here's my plan. I'll take you through an overview of the Duke Startup Challenge very quickly, the events we had last year. We kicked off the year in November last year with the elevator pitch competition. 74 teams from across Duke participated. It's a fantastic night. The Blue Devil was here, like he is tonight. Where is he? Woo! Janine was packed, as you can see. That's Bill Maris, co-founder Google Ventures. He was the keynote speaker that night. And that's Garrett, winner of the elevator pitch competition, representing. Woo! Where is Garrett? Garrett, are you here? Yeah. You gotta stand up, my friend. Whoa!
So that was the elevator pitch competition last November. This spring session, the Duke Startup Challenge kicked off the year with the executive summary competition. 109 unique business ideas were submitted from across Duke, which is 3 times more than the number we received last year, and 30 more than the number that the MIT 100K received from MIT only.
So, Vatsala, we clearly beat MIT there.
We did beat MIT, but we recently beat another team as well.
Really? Let's see. Well, of course! We beat Butler! We're the national champions! Go Duke! All right. So 109 business ideas submitted from across schools at Duke. That's a split by the tracks. Now let's do a quick show of hands for the undergraduates in the room. Guys, why don't you just stand up? All undergraduates stand up, please. These undergraduates deserve that round of applause because the undergraduate track had the most business ideas, 41 business ideas,
Go
guys.
undergrads! So
109 business ideas from across Duke, 35 semifinalists. Now, these semifinalists presented their business ideas to a panel of investors. 7 finalists were eventually selected. These 7 finalists then revised their business plans and went through another round of investor pitches. 1 winner and 1 runner-up was selected. We'll make the announcements tonight.
But before we proceed any further, let's take a moment to thank our generous sponsors, without whom a competition of this scale would just not be possible. Hutchison Law Group,
InterSouth Partners,
Eye Contact,
Wyrick Robbins,
Intuit,
Business Plan Pro,
Goal City Forward,
HPG,
Smith Anderson,
and Square One Bank.
Thank you so much to our sponsors.
Now this is what you've been waiting for, haven't you? It is my honor tonight to introduce a very inspiring man. Aaron Patzer is a Duke graduate. He graduated in 2002. He started his business, Mint.com, in 2006. He was a 1-member team at the time he started, spending hours by himself coding, staring at that screen. Aaron Patzer then, in 2009, sold his business to Intuit for $170 million. Aaron Patzer is listed in Inc. magazine's top 30 entrepreneurs under 30. He's listed in Fortune magazine's top 40 under 40, several other accolades. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Aaron Patzer. Woo!
Thanks very much for the introduction. I've always thought that entrepreneurs and engineers should be treated like rock stars, and this is the first time that it's really been nailed. So I really appreciate that. So in under 3 years, I went from an idea to selling a company for $170 million. I'll tell you a little bit about that story, but I also want to weave it in with some advice on how you go from 109 teams with a lot of great ideas, but ideas are a dime a dozen, to an actual company, an actual product, to actually raising funds and building a team and prototyping things, so that you have a real venture, because in the end, an idea is nothing. You have to put it into practice. So that's what we'll cover today. So for those of you who don't know, show of hands, who's a Mint user in here? Nice, nice. For those of you who don't know, Mint is the #1 personal finance application online today. It's got nearly 3 million users 2.5 years after being launched. Mint links to 16,000 financial institutions, your bank accounts, your credit cards, your student loans, your investment, pulls it all together in one place, shows you how much you have, how much you owe. It shows you where you've been spending your money, how much you spent on gas and groceries. It sends you bill reminders and alerts, whether you get hit with bank fees. It'll show you your investment performance. And it'll also make you money. It's a free product, and it'll say things like, God, do you have $20,000 sitting around in that Bank of America savings account? Not earning any interest. You could move it over to ING Direct and make 3 times that amount in interest, or 10 times, and that's worth $300 without you changing your behavior. So that's what Mint is, and that, by the way, is the 30-second elevator pitch that I've been using pretty much verbatim for 3 years. It tells what problem we're solving, what the product does, and how we make money, because we make money by helping you save money, by switching to another bank, or a lower cost loan, or a better insurance product. A little bit more on me besides the Fortune under 40. I am an engineer, a geek by training, and an entrepreneur probably second. Thanks. at age 6, around how old he is, I was selling my designs, or trying to sell my designs, back to the Constructs company, Legos and Constructs. And it's come a long way, but that's been my passion since I was a child, to build and create. At Duke, I did electrical engineering, and computer science. Then I went on to do the PhD program at Princeton. I dropped out. So dropping out of school is just fine. And to pursue, yeah, that's right. If you've got a great business idea, it may be what you need to do. Because school is not the end. It's where you learn. It's what you do with what you learn that matters. And you know, I've been in your position. I'm still in my 20s, so I'm not that dissimilar in age from a lot of you out there. And I remember being in college and looking at successful entrepreneurs and business leaders in the country and thinking, how could they have, you know, possibly done that? It seems like magic to go from nothing to being a guy alone in a room to having a company and a brand that's used by millions of people. And a lot of the aura and persona is, you think it just sort of happened and they did it perfectly and they were always confident in what they did, and that's not true. So I failed 3 times before I got to Mint. So in 1997, in order to put myself through Duke, because Duke is expensive, I started a web development company. In '98, I did online marketing, and I found through both of those that services businesses don't really scale. Every time you have a new client, you have to, it takes more time, you have to hire more people, you have more expense. They don't scale, so you need a product company. So when I was in graduate school, just after I left Duke, I tried to start a bioinformatics company on DNA sequence matching process. It was a DNA sequence matching processor. The problem is I don't really know anything about DNA sequence matching or really processors or bioinformatics, or not enough anyway. There was some really deep science involved, and it was also a small market. It would have served maybe 100 different laboratories around the world, and that's about it. More than those 2 things, though, and those were probably deal breakers, I tried to do it while I was in school. I didn't give it my all, and we'll get back to that. So I did a big faceplant on that one, and just failed entirely. Although I did win 3rd place in the Princeton business plan competition with it. It was actually an abysmal business. So what should I have done? How should I have validated that idea? How should I have built that team? How much effort should I have put into the business? And so I wanted to talk to you about developing a business idea into an actual business. So the validation, the creating a prototype, building the team, raising funds. First, validating an idea. The original idea for Mint was not personal finance software. It was actually goal-setting software. I had this idea that I used to be an overplanner. I probably still am. I used to think 20, 30, 50 years out. I started planning for my retirement when I was 13 years old with an Excel spreadsheet. True story. And so the idea was that you could set these goals like, I want to buy a yacht and it's going to cost this much. I want a vacation home, it's going to cost this much. I want to learn a language and it's going to take this much training, and these are all the steps that I have to take. I want to go through business school. How much time is it going to take? How much money is it going to cost me? So everything, all these goals were quantified in terms of dollars spent and the time required. Instead of keeping that idea to myself and being afraid that people would, quote, steal my idea, which a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to are afraid of. You know, they want, I do some angel investing now, they want you to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they're very secretive about their idea. Ideas are nothing. It's all in the execution. I went out and I told as many people as I possibly could, and it turned out to be a horrible idea. I talked to 80 people, and only one of them said that they would use this goal planning software. I called it Carpe Viva, seize life in Latin. I don't really know Latin, so that might not be true. But when I talked to these 80 people, I talked to all my friends, I talked to all my family. By the way, if you want to validate a business idea, at least a consumer business idea, talk to your mom. Don't talk to your friends, because she won't get it. Why do we need this thing for Twitter that manages your groups in a better way? I don't get it. But what did resonate was the money component, quantifying everything in dollars and cents. And I discovered that people had a lot of trouble with existing tools. With Microsoft Monies, with the Quickens, they took too long to get set up. And I was a Quicken user at the time. And I was so busy with my finances that I didn't log into Quicken for 4 or 5 months. It had downloaded about 400 transactions from my bank, told me my bank balance didn't match my Quicken balance. I was going to have to reconcile all my transactions. I didn't know what reconcile meant. It didn't categorize anything. I just wanted to know, was I going out with my friends too much? Was I spending too much money on DVDs at Best Buy? Was I off my budget? And I want a quick, simple tool to do that. So the second part of validating your idea is, does it solve a real problem? And the problem that Mint solved was personal finances are very complex. The average American has 11 different financial relationships. Do I have the best interest rate on all of my student loans or my mortgage or my bank accounts? Mint can solve all of those problems. Existing tools were not, and they were stuck on the desktop, and Mint was all online. Anytime, mobile devices were on Android, were on the iPhone. And so a real business, you want to step back, and you want to say, is this a problem or a business that will still be viable in 5, 10, or 15 years? Will personal finances still be complex without this tool? Yes, probably. Will people be able to manage their Twitter groups better 5 years from now, or will that be a real problem? Probably not. Is it a billion-dollar market? Is this a big problem that applies to a lot of people? Does it apply to, and by the way, the reason I dropped out of Princeton is because in academics, people are as likely to invent a solution for 3 people as they are 3 million, and they don't seem to care about the difference between the two. And I didn't want any of that. So does it solve a problem for hundreds of thousands or millions of people? Well, every adult in the free world needs to manage their finances. You need to know what's coming in, what's going out, how can I save more money, how can I get better prices? And then, do you have a sustainable advantage? Do you have the technology? Do you have the patents to protect your business? So just as 2 examples outside of consumer internet and the area where I'm a specialist, I wanted to compare the Dyson hand dryer with the Slanket. So the Dyson hand dryer is one of those things you stick your hands in, you pull them out, and 10 seconds later they're dry. Will people have the problem of drying their hands in 5, 10, or 15 years? Yeah, we're all hopefully going to wash our hands. There's not some sort of skin that we're going to grow that doesn't have germs on it. Is it a billion-dollar market? Well, they're installed in every commercial facility around the world, in every school around the world. There are hundreds of thousands of these things that get sold every year. Do they have a sustainable advantage? Well, Dyson's a good brand name. They have the technology for airflow. That's a probable. Slanket. What's the problem? I have a blanket, but I want to be able to stick my arms through it to control the remote. Maybe that's a problem you'd have in 5 or 10 years. Is it a billion-dollar market? I'd like to say no, although the number of large housewives in the Midwest might prove me otherwise. Does it have a sustainable advantage? No. The answer is no, it doesn't have a sustainable advantage. Anybody can come in and copy your Slanket, and there's no real technology here. Anybody from China can knock it off. So two businesses, that's how you validate it. Or if you take the example of the goal-setting software, it wasn't a billion-dollar market. It wasn't big enough. It was only a problem that I had and basically no one else had. And maybe I could have made a sustainable advantage with the technology. So Mint's first steps in building the prototype, in coming up with a technology that would give us a sustainable advantage, was actually, this seems really bizarre, it was a categorization engine. So have you guys logged into your online banks and you see that Amazon is not listed as Amazon.com, it's listed as AMZN *67 Alpharetta, Georgia point of sale purchase. You know, there's all this garbage in there. Well, Mint knows how to translate that into English. And the way that it does that is it actually correlates those bank transactions with the US Yellow Pages. It just looks it up in the Yellow Pages and says, oh, Rose's Cafe, that's a coffee shop, or Kroger, that's groceries. And that was it. That was my one insight into personal finance that got me started on this whole journey. And then I thought, okay, well, that's a feature. How can I, and I was 25 at the time, how can I, as a 25-year-old guy sitting alone in a room, possibly compete with Microsoft money? Microsoft's a $300 billion corporation at the time, and Intuit, a $10 billion company. There's no possible way that I can do this. But then I thought, well, there's no way I can compete with them in stores selling software, so it's got to be free, and I've got to do it online. And if I do it online, I don't have to compete with them in retail, and if I do it for free, then maybe I can take their market share away from them because I'm undercutting them on price. Well, what's the business model? All right, well, if the user knows where their money is going because you can categorize all of their transactions, that's great because they have a nice pretty pie chart of where they're spending. You can check it against your budgets and send you emails or SMS alerts if you exceed your restaurant budget or your drinking budget or your budget for anything else. People budget a lot of illicit things on Mint as well. Not that I condone that behavior. And if they know where their money is going, then we know where their money is going. So we can say, hey, you spend $300 on phone, TV, and internet. Did you know that AT&T or Comcast, they're offering a triple play bundle at $120 a month? That would save you, $1,200 a year, $1,500 a year. You've got 4 student loans, 2 of them at 8% and 2 of them at 5%. Right now, you can actually, interest rates have dropped. You can consolidate them all at 4.5% interest, given where your credit score is, and that'll save you X number of dollars over the course of the loan lifetime. And so that became the business model. It defined the fact that we'd be free. It defined the fact that we'd be online. And so solving one problem, even if it seems minor at the time, you go down this logical chain of events to build the rest of your business. Now, when I had this idea and knew that I could categorize transactions accurately, I did a little prototype because I was a computer scientist. I was still working full-time for another startup. And I had started the San Jose division of this other company, and I was working 60 hours on that, and I was working 40 hours on Mint, and it was absolutely killing me. And so I sat down and had a talk with myself one day, and I said, you know what, I can't possibly live with not knowing whether this will work or not. If I go halfway and it fails, I can't live with that. If I go all the way, put everything I've got into this, and it fails, I can live with that. I'm 25, what's the worst that's going to happen? You go back and live with your parents, so what? You go bankrupt, well, you don't have a mortgage, you don't have kids, it's not that big a deal. So you take the risk, and it's really strange because you feel like you're kicking yourself away from the system. You see all of your friends and the people that you graduated from Duke with, and they're moving up nicely in their little corporate tracks, they're getting the raises, and you're sitting alone, you're watching your net worth drop every week. And you're taking on Microsoft and Intuit. You're taking on billion-dollar companies with thousands or tens of thousands of employees. And so self-doubt, I mean, I had plenty. Don't ever let anyone successful say that, I just knew it was going to work. I knew it was going to succeed. I didn't have any doubts. Of course you're going to have doubts. Whenever I'd have doubts, I have a quote on my wall from Shakespeare, which I always say to myself. It's, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we might oft win by fearing to attempt. And so no matter what happened, no matter how many errors I had when I was trying to compile my programs, no matter how bleak it seemed, you just push through it. And you're depressed one day, and then the next day you think, this is the greatest idea that anyone's ever come up with. I'm going to make so much money, it's going to change the world of finance, it's going to help people save and organize their finances so well. You just push through it. And so I worked for 6 or 7 months, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, basically alone in a room. I went out to Silicon Valley, didn't know anybody. and produce the first prototype for Mint. And so next rule is work flat out hard, and it can be very lonely. During that whole time, the first year of Mint, I was working so long and for so many hours that basically I was celibate. Not by choice, which is really tough as a 25-year-old guy. I know what you're thinking. You feel really sorry for me. Don't worry, it's not a problem any longer. I'm okay. But just to let you know what you might be in for if you want to go down this track, those are the kind of hours, that's what may happen to your social life. But at the end of it, I started in March of 2006. In September 2006, I had, and this is maybe never been seen in public, I had this prototype for Mint, which is what I came up with on my own. It doesn't look nearly as polished as Mint. I can point out 100 flaws with this design. But it was usable, sort of. It wasn't polished. It wasn't scalable. But it was something. It was something real. Because you can't go in. I actually tried this. I went into Sequoia Venture Capital, one of the most renowned venture capitalists in Silicon Valley, back in March. And they said, you're 25. You have no product. You have no team. It's a good idea, but you've got nothing. Of course we can't fund you. And they were right. But if you can take it from a PowerPoint presentation, if you can take it from that 2-page executive summary into something real, into something, even if it's just graphical mock-ups that you've got somebody to do in Photoshop, it's something real and tangible that you can point to and have a discussion about, and shows that you've put the time and effort into it. Now the next phase is to build the right team. Now you might be asking yourself, how do you possibly raise funds when you've got a prototype, but you have no revenue and you haven't launched your product? Okay? The rule of thumb in Silicon Valley is you add $500,000 for each one of these guys, the nerdy guys, the guys with glasses, the guys who have no fashion sense. I was definitely one of those guys. Maybe I still am. And you subtract $250,000 for this business guy. All of you MBAs who dress well and know how to talk, you're actually much less valuable than engineers. Good engineers are the hardest thing in the world to find. I get 2 or 3 MBA resumes from Harvard, from Stanford, from Duke, from Chicago every week, and they always say, you know what, I'm really smart, I'm an MBA, I can do anything. I can do product, I can do marketing, I can do biz dev. And as soon as they say that, I know that they can't do any one of those, because each of those is a discipline unto itself. You also get, these teams of MBAs, the 3 or 4 MBA teams, and they're trying to start a tech company or even a consumer internet company, and they're like, oh, we'll just outsource the development to India or China. Like engineers are somehow expendable resources. Engineers, and I hope there's some engineers in the audience. Yes? All right. The difference between a good engineer and a great engineer is tenfold. And I think that engineers, in the way that they code in a very different way, can be as creative and as beautiful as any art. So that's just a warning for you MBAs. So I thought since we were at Fuqua, I'd trash the fact that you came here. Now, the next thing you need to do when you are raising funds, and this is an actual graph from what I said I would do at Mint. It did not actually come true. Prove you can make money. Your absolute revenue projections will be total bullshit. Everyone's looks like a hockey stick curve. Great. You know how to plot stuff in Excel. So what? What really matters is how much you're going to make per user or per transaction, and that you have a huge market. So, for example, Facebook makes about $2 per user per year off of all of its users. It's Facebook. I mean, it's got 300-400 million users, but it's making a very small amount. Yahoo Finance makes about $6 per user off of their visitors because they're finance focused, and you can upsell insurance brokerages, the financial services. Mint makes considerably more than that. Can't disclose it because I'm at a public company now. And so I wanted to show you how you actually validate that you have a revenue model. And I'm going to go through Mint's undoctored slides back from 2006. You can see the old logo. I designed that myself. We've improved it considerably. But I went through and I said, hey, there's the current competition, Quicken, Microsoft Money. They're difficult to use. They cost $30 to $70, and a lot of people quit. And then there are these services like Bankrate or Lower My Bills where you can find better prices, better interest rates on financial products. Mint was sort of a combination of the two of them. I said, but there are 20 million people who have bought Quicken and Microsoft Money over the past few years. 20 million people. And 65 million people, now it's about 80, who use online banking. And then I said, all right, we're going to do this lead gen model where we know where you spend. We're going to get you better prices on your phone, TV, and your internet. We're going to give you a better interest rate on your checking or your deposit accounts. And I said, all right, credit cards. We can make $60 per credit card application. How often are people going to switch to credit cards? I don't know, every 2 years or so. How often are they going to switch their investment retirement account, their IRA? Well, every 3.5 years, because that's how often people change their jobs. How many people are going to actually do that action? Well, 5% maybe switch their IRAs. Not 100%. All Mint users aren't going to take advantage of the savings opportunity. They're not, maybe not even know about them. They may not even find them. So each of these assumptions, it could go 2x in either direction. It could be 2 times higher, it could be 2 times lower, but it's ballpark reasonable. You multiply all those out, and the amount of money that I said we would make off of each vertical is pretty close to what we actually ended up making. So you pull that together, you have got 20 to 65 million people potential. You could make $30 in revenue per user per year just off the lead gen component. Well, that's a $1 billion opportunity. And those 3 slides back in 2006 and early 2007 netted me $750,000 in venture funding. And I'm going to get back to the never give up before I close. Built the prototype for Mint, defined the market, figured out that we had a real revenue opportunity, figured out that we had a real need, that it served a real human value. Despite that, I went to every networking event that I could. I stopped being an engineer and decided I need to be more on the business side. I got about 50 no's before I got my first yes. Everybody said, no one will ever trust a startup with their financial information. No one will ever enter their bank usernames and passwords into a website. They won't think that it's secure enough. Quicken, Microsoft Money, these big guys, they have the market locked up. There's no way. They've had it locked up for 20 years. A startup can't come in. And I listened to what they said, and I made sure that I had good answers around security and why it was important to do things online and who our target market was going to be. But I didn't give up. And then I was at a dinner in September of 2006. And a guy named Josh Koppelman, a first-round capitalist based in Philadelphia, just happened to be there. He was out on the West Coast. And I gave him my 30-second elevator pitch, which I had given dozens or hundreds of times before. And he said, that sounds like a great idea. He was the first person to say, that's a good idea. And so I said, wait. I have a laptop that's running a database server and a web server in the trunk of my car. I ran out, Boy Scout motto, always be prepared. Ran out to my car, 30 seconds later, I brought it in, gave him a demo of that prototype mock-up that you just saw, clicked around. Within a week and a half, I had a term sheet for raising $750,000 on a $3 million valuation. The company at the time was me and one guy I was paying out of my pocket, who was the first employee, and then another Duke grad, Purnima Vijayashankar from 2004, who was a contractor at the time. And we got a $3 million valuation on our business. After that, we could hire real professionals so that we weren't just a team of early 20s programmers. And the rest is sort of history. But it was that time period when, and these steps that I went through that defined the whole rest of the company. We've just been on that trajectory. These are the most defining months of your startup career. And that's exciting. That's what you get to face next. That's where you get to take the idea that you've come up with here at the Startup Challenge and make it into something real. I hope you do, not only because I'm a Dookie myself, but also because I'm an investor. The last thing that I wanted to say about startups is more from a personal level. This is a picture of me for Fortune magazine. It was just really strange to go from being an engineer who was, quite frankly, very antisocial, locked myself in a room and coded for 6 or 7 months, didn't really know anything about marketing or business development or building a brand or even product development and design. I was just good at engineering, and that was it. And I've got to say that Mint and starting a company and actually following through on it has been the single most transformational thing of my entire life. You know, I went from this engineer to who, you know, maybe I didn't have as much confidence or much confidence, to somebody who can, well, stand here and talk to a group of people, who can walk up to, after you've been rejected by the world's leading venture capitalists, you can walk up to any girl and talk to her. It's not a problem. P.S. for the ladies in the audience, my girlfriend is right here. Don't try it. And it gives you this kind of unstoppable self-confidence in yourself to take something from an idea that's in your head and to watch it become something that's used by nearly 3 million people. To put it in perspective, Mint now tracks about $500 billion, I'm sorry, worth of transactions. We have found about $1 billion in savings opportunities for our users. We've affected their savings rate of millions of people. I mean, we literally will one day have a measurable effect on the economy. If we were a bank, we would be a top 20 bank, and to do that within 2.5 years. It's amazing, and it makes me feel like I can take on anything. And it makes me feel like, Mint, that was great, but that's small. I got to do something bigger, and I will. And that's the kind of confidence it gives you, and there's nothing. Forget about the money. The money is great, by the way. And that is a good aspect, but that just lets you go to, you know, good restaurants and take whatever vacations you want. Being able to use your brain to actually create something, that's the best feeling in the world. So I hope it's yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. That was very inspiring. All right, here's how tonight will work. We have 13 1-minute. For those of you who are leaving, guys, hello. This is going to be exciting. We have 13 1-minute pitches lined up for you. This will be a rapid fire round. Competitors would come here and make 1-minute pitches. These are the top 13 ideas from across Duke. That's the order of the pitches tonight. They'll be here competing for 2 awards. I mean, obviously, we have the winner and the runners-up predetermined. I don't know the results, but we're going to present them towards the end of the night. But tonight, when they make the 1-minute pitch, they're actually competing for 2 awards. The Audience Choice Award, which is you guys voting for your favorite team, $250. And then the Speaker's Choice Award, Aaron's going to pick his favorite team tonight. So that's the 2 awards they're pitching for. Let me explain to you the stop sign method now. So when competitors come here, they have 1 minute. It's a hard stop on 1 minute. Now, as soon as the minute gets over, you will see that sign. And you're going to go stop. Exactly. We're going to practice this. Let's assume I'm a competitor. I come up and I say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Shalif Gupta. I have a brilliant business idea. It's going to make a lot of money. Wow, you guys are good. I think we're good to go. Let's begin the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, the first team tonight, Ecoviator! Woo! Maybe you start, the bank starts.
Imagine hiking in the rainforests of Costa Rica, snorkeling in the Maldives, or staying in a desert lodge in Egypt. Trips like these that allow people to experience the natural world in a way that is socially and environmentally responsible are called ecotourism. Currently, no opportunities exist for people to research and reserve ecotourism vacations. Ecoviator will change that. Ecoviator allows its users to browse, search for, compare, and directly book ecotourism opportunities. Now is a great time to provide this service. The ecotourism industry has been growing at a rate of 20 to 34% per year since the 1990s, and it is predicted to keep growing in the future. No other company, despite this growth, offers the same services that Ecoviator does, but Ecoviator will offer ratings, research, and booking opportunities in a way that is user-friendly and centralized, making ecotourism available to everyone. Thank you.
Good job. Next up, we have the Progress and Purity Project.
Most of us have no idea what it's like to live in northern Afghanistan, but I can tell you from living there myself that it's a difficult life indeed. Only 15% of Afghans have access to safe drinking water. Unsanitary practices are widespread, and 1 in 5 children die before the age of 5 as a result. In this male-dominated culture, the Progress and Purity Project is a holistic intervention nonprofit bringing health and hope to northern Afghanistan through women by teaching them to use low-cost chlorine to purify their water, protecting themselves and their children from diarrheal disease. Our model is proven effective to reduce disease and death by 60%. Our model is both direct sales and retail, with a target of 20% earned income revenue by year 2, outperforming other nonprofits in our space. This means that your donor dollars go farther as we empower women, transfer knowledge through families, and save lives. We need $14,000 as we're set to open in Afghanistan next month, and we're very grateful for your support. Thank you.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Kosh.
Team Kosh aims to solve an important and widespread problem. Children in elementary schools in semi-urban and rural India do not have access to high-quality educational content. This makes learning extremely dull and boring and causes children to drop out of school. This is mainly because high-quality, low-cost, and culturally relevant content is hard to find. We plan to step in and address this problem by aggregating readily available educational content into an online repository. We plan to repackage, translate, and contextualize this information to make it culturally relevant to children in our target market. We plan to distribute this information via the internet and also through our on-the-ground NGO partners. We're a team of 5 Fuqua MBAs. We have an advisory board with experience in education, technology, and entrepreneurship. And above all, we're driven by a strong passion to create social change. Thank you.
We aren't really getting to use the stop sign much now, are we? Micropower up next.
Hello, my name is Andrew Camacho. I'm a PhD engineering student of Micropower. We've developed these micro engines that use ethanol to provide portable electricity. The advantage that these engines have is that for the same size, they can last 15 times longer than batteries. The market size for this technology is enormous. Today, the US military battery market is over $200 million, and the civilian market is over $70 billion. We plan to capitalize on these markets by providing not only an advantage in terms of performance, but also in terms of costs. For example, today, the most common US military battery costs a little bit over $100 and is non-rechargeable. Our microengine plus $50 in fuel could save the US military over $166,000 per engine. So this is where we are. We've used money from a research and development grant from DARPA to develop the technology. We filed all of our patents, and we are planning on building a functional prototype within the next month.
Good job, Andy. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Preserve a Bowl. Whenever you start, we start.
when consumers buy fresh produce, they're faced with a dilemma. Do you store it out on your countertop or in the refrigerator? Either way, consumers face a storage-related loss of usually 20%. Our product, the Preservable, seeks to fix this. The Preservable is a countertop fruit preservation solution, or fresh produce more accurately. It extends shelf life roughly 300% on average, and then also it's a organic process, and we currently have a patent pending on our technology. This is the consumer device you see up there. We have it designed. We're looking to move into production by the end of the year. We are also working on a division for grocery stores and a group for trucking. Our target market for this is 34 million households with a target price of $70.
Next up, guys, the undergraduate winners, Wasabi.
All right. Wasabi is the first ever fully customizable sushi restaurant that serves restaurant quality sushi at a quick pace and a low price. Now, college students like you and me are stuck when it comes to sushi. We either pay big bucks at a sit-down restaurant or we settle for the day-old box of sushi. Across the nation, students are being forced to choose between quality and convenience, but we make it easy at Wasabi. We provide both.
We could talk about numbers all night, but we were going to show you that we listen. Right now, sushi has a satisfaction rate of 3 out of 10 on campus, but it's the #2 seller. We know that you want and deserve better, and we're here to bring it to you. If we win the money tonight, we're going to bring in our Food Network chef, Philip Yee, to have a throwdown on campus and teach you about our food and give you some free sushi.
Now, we're not your average sushi restaurant. At Wasabi, we roll like champions, and we roll with champions. So I'd like to bring to the stage the national champs. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, who did expect that? Can we have another showing of the players, please? Probably not coming back. Anyway, innovations, guys.
Wow. So my name is Roberto Alfaro, and I'm with Innovations. Glaucoma is the second leading cause of irreversible blindness in the world, affecting 70 million people. Currently, the treatments for glaucoma are inadequate because they cannot sufficiently stabilize the level of damage to the optic nerves. But we have the solution, the camera shunt. This was developed by Dr. Karamis, who also helped create the world's leading drug therapy for glaucoma today. This device is what ophthalmologists want because it can stop the damage to the eye, and it's fast and easy to implement. Additionally, we've also been successful in animal trials, and we have 3 patents right now. We plan to market in the US, where we've estimated the market size to be 450 million based on 640,000 patients. Additionally, we anticipate 14.7 million in revenue our second year. Now, tonight, all of you have the ability to help Eye Innovations in its quest to stop the second leading cause of blindness. Thank you.
Green Wave Sciences up next.
Well, as y'all know, I'm Maddie Burke.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm sure every single one of you have eaten food produced on a farm at some point. But again, do you guys know what actually goes into the cost of production for this food? Every year, the United States spends approximately $10 billion on chemical pesticides. And it has been estimated that we encounter $8.2 billion in damages. At Green Wave Sciences, we have developed an innovative solution for this problem.
Our patented technology, the microwave soil sterilizer, uses electromagnetic radiation to heat and kill soil pests. It will also reduce costs for producers, which reduces the cost of the food that you all eat. It is also a green alternative to chemical pesticides. So now you know our problem and our solution, but why us? At Green Wave Sciences, we have a professor in electromagnetism, a professor emeritus at Duke's Fuqua School, and a 6th-generation farmer working on his PhD in engineering. At Green Wave Sciences, we believe in our product, we believe in ourselves, and we hope you will believe in us. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry about that, Matt.
Sorry about that. All right.
One day I was waiting in the lobby for the elevator. The door slid aside, and there she stood. The prettiest girl I had.
You just heard NPR StoryCorps. This is a phenomenon that's inspired 50,000 people to record their stories by traveling to one of 3 physical recording booths. Now, yourstory.com is going to make it easier. We allow you to record your personal histories from anywhere over the internet. We are the Shutterfly of oral histories, and we target the $3 billion scrapbooking market, which is made of soccer moms who spend 4 hours a week preserving their family's memories. Now, our research shows that they'll spend $50 per audio scrapbook. So, yourstory.com is designed to be an easy-to-use interface that allows you to record, edit, and publish your family's oral histories over the internet, so that you can do this no matter where you or your family members are located. Now, through a planned partnership with StoryCorps, we plan to drive 250,000 recordings in 2015. Thank you.
This is exciting, but it took a while to put those stop signs in. Curve it up next, guys. All the best.
Thank you. All right, on-campus recruiting platforms are inefficient and difficult to use. At Curve, we're creating what we like to call LinkedIn for on-campus recruiting. And this is, at this point, a $200 million market annually. Now, Curve allows students to create an online resume repository with many functionalities, but really, the goal is to create a centralized student database of information that makes it much easier for recruiters and CMCs, who are the ultimate customers, the paying customers, to more efficiently search data and mine data. Now, there's evidence from Duke that we've done a good job of taking advantage of the user experience and functionality problems with the current system. There are 6 programs at Duke that are interested in the software. 3 have asked for formal proposals for August 2010 engagement. At this point, we're looking for $250,000 capital to extend through August 2011. Thank you.
Colucci Danza.
Ballet is often associated with beauty, but ballet can just as easily be associated with pain. Ballerinas spend $8,000 a year on shoes that last less than 3 hours and cause hundreds of injuries. They purchase 30 pairs of shoes a month, shoes made out of cardboard that lead to permanent foot deformations. Let's do better. Our innovative design, 5 years in the making, has been published as the cover story of Ergonomics and Design, won first place at the MIT Science Fair, and been prototyped with top ballerinas. We have the solution, the support, the plan, and we're currently working on the last key element, funding. Hopefully, with your vote today, we can check that one off too. Thank you.
Rexis Biomedical.
So in front of some of you are grapes and a pair of tweezers. Try, if you can, to make a perfectly circular incision in the skin of the grape. It's tough, isn't it? This procedure closely replicates the procedure that ophthalmologists have to do when they repair cataracts in your eyes, which occur when the lenses become cloudy due to aging. Now look at your neighbor. Chances are that one of you will have cataracts by the age of 80. Now, why is this procedure so difficult to perform? Another thing is that this procedure, cataracts are the #1 cause of blindness worldwide, and the lack of trained surgeons and the difficulty of this procedure makes it so difficult to perform. So Rexis Biomedical has a team of engineers and physicians that are making a device that will make the procedure easier to perform, faster, and safer, which will reduce the number of complications of cataract surgery and also enable residents and physicians worldwide to perform this procedure. Now, we're first going to launch our product into the US and generate revenues that will allow us to expand into international markets, which represent 85% of people who need cataract surgery. And this will enable these.
30 Rex up next, guys.
Every year, 2.3 million people die from malaria and TB infections. But the thing is that 700,000 of those people died needlessly because they took counterfeit medications. Additionally, counterfeit medications promote drug resistance, which undermines the efforts of NGOs and wastes millions of dollars every year. Cedarx's solution places a batch-specific, unique code onto every individual unit dose of medication, linking it back to the origin, enabling track and trace infrastructure, which deters counterfeit activities. If you think about it, it's like placing a barcode on every single pill. We're able to create a sustainable business model by selling our product for profit, which allows us to deliver at cost in developing worlds. Cedarx will make medicine safer, it will save lives, it'll save money. So help Cedarx and save their life.
That was 13 pitches, 13 of the best business ideas from across Duke. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big, big round of applause. Okay, now you vote for your favorite team. This is how this will work. You use your cell phones to text one of those team codes, the team code for the team that you think is the best, to the phone number 99503. Let's do an example. Let's say you think COVID deserves the Audience Choice Award. That's 71752, texted to the phone number 99503. You have 2 minutes to cast your vote. Time starts now. So your votes are in. Hey, mister, you voted twice, didn't you? Just kidding. All right. The Audience Choice winner is Wasabi! Come up, guys.
Ask Aaron.
Aaron, can we get you up? We'll do a quick photograph. The Blue Devil. Where's the Blue Devil? There he is. Cool. Come, guys. Congratulations.
Good job, congrats.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Good job, guys. You guys are doing well. So that's how the votes happened. Micropower actually did pretty good as well. Micropower, well done. But of course, Wasabi was the winner there. All right, guys, next up, Aaron. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have some build-up because I wanted just to give general feedback on all the pitches and go through some of my favorites. In general, I thought that people did a good job about saying what it was your business was about very quickly, very succinctly, what the need was that you were solving. What I didn't hear in some pitches was sort of the credibility. Why is it that you, of all people, could solve this? Why hasn't this been solved? Why couldn't it be done by someone else? So I know that's tough in a 1-minute pitch, but you have to have some sort of credibility there. So I'll announce my winner at the end, but I'll announce the ones that I thought did a good job. From the social innovation arena, I thought that progress and purity was best. because it seems she had instant credibility with me because she said, I've been in Afghanistan, I know what it's like. The solution is basically chlorine bleach in water, which seems practical, cheap, simple. And there claims to be a business model around it so that you don't rely entirely on donations. So it's believable by someone who I think can pull it off. It's a small enough domain that I think it's achievable. Whereas like Kosh, for example, come on, you're 5 MBAs, you're going to deliver reliable content to the entire third world. I mean, that problem is enormous. It's huge. There's nothing in your pitch that made me believe that, that it was achievable from a distribution standpoint, despite your best intentions. The pitches that I liked in terms of who I thought had this is not my favorite company just yet, but in terms of who I thought had the best quality presentation, it was the ballerina shoes. I can't remember the name of the company. Great presentation, simple visuals, clear problem. You got the business model in the presentation with the 30 shoes, and they spend $8,000. And the fact that I can remember that after seeing as many presentations as we all saw is a clear testament to how well she did as a presenter. The reason it's not my top overall is because I think it's too niche as a market. It's not necessarily world-changing, world-altering, the billion-dollar market, but fantastic job presenting. The other ones that I really liked, and I'll tell you what I thought were some of the issues with each of them, just to give some feedback. I liked Green Wave. You mentioned the size of the market in terms of the cost spent on pest control and the wastage and the damages. That's good. My big concern, and it looks like you've got the technology and you've got some patents being filed. That's great. Trying to distribute that to millions of farmers all over the world seems like a very daunting challenge. It seems like it would be very capital intensive to produce that kind of industrial equipment. And it seems like my first reaction as an investor would be, well, won't it kill all of the good organisms, the worms and the bacteria in the soil? And maybe it doesn't, and I'm sure you have answers for those things, but those are the initial immediate sort of objections that you would have as an investor. I liked the innovations presentation, clear need with as many people. As maybe going blind, I think I like the fact that you have like an engineering diagram on your one slide. And it was clear sort of how it worked and how you could sort of inflate or inject fluid into the eye to prevent retinal damage. I guess I know a little bit about the area, enough to be dangerous. I like the preservable from a design standpoint. That was good industrial design, so nice work there. Always tough to introduce a new consumer product that's going to be on as many tables as that would have to be in order to be, I think, profitable. So my top pick, my speaker's choice, is Micro Power.
Blue Devil, let's get a photograph in.
Sure. Seems like a very big market. Seems like they've got some engineers on it. They didn't, yeah, exactly. They didn't come across as too polished or too MBA-like, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Nice work, guys. I'm impressed enough that you should actually.
Good job, Andy. All right, at this point, I'd like to take a minute to thank the Duke Startup Challenge organizers. Can I request all the organizers to stand up, please?
Woo!
You guys have worked really hard throughout the This competition at this scale would just not be possible without your efforts. Thank you very, very much. I would also like to specially acknowledge two people. First, my friend and classmate, Stephen Powell. Stephen, can I request you to stand up, please? That's Stephen. Stephen, do you want to wave your hand? He's a modest guy. Stephen led the competition, led the elevator pitch competition last November, and he took the competition to new heights. Stephen's dedication has inspired all of us in the team. Stephen, great job, man. Another special acknowledgement for a man who's the backbone of the Duke Startup Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my friend and mentor, Harvey Ree. Howie's goal, I would like you all to know, is to make Duke the #1 school for entrepreneurship in the country. And as Vatsala pointed out, we already beat MIT this year, Howie. Who else are we beating now? Thank you, Howie, for all your support.
So this year, the Startup Challenge was led by 3 co-presidents, Stephen, Shalav, and myself. Next year, we're leaving the competition in 4 very capable hands. I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to our 4 incoming presidents. If you guys could just stand and wave when I call your name. Megan Gallagher, Fuqua.
Vidhan Agrawal, Pratt.
Jonathan Lee, Fuqua.
And Tim Canavan, Fuqua, and the Nicholas School.
All the best, guys.
Good luck, guys.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to that moment that you've all been waiting for. It is time to announce the winners of the 2 big awards for tonight. But before that, let's recap.
Let's recap. 109 business ideas submitted from across Duke. 35 semifinalists. 7 finalists. 1 winner and 1 runner-up. I'd like to, at this point, invite all finalist teams on stage as we call their names. Kervit, winner of the IT and Media track.
Kaluchi Danza, winner of the Women-Led Startup track.
Greenwave Sciences, winner of the Energy and Environment track.
Micropower, winner of the Products and Services track.
The Progress and Purity Project, winner of the Social Enterprise track.
Rex's Biomedical, winner of the Healthcare and Life Sciences track.
And the guys that brought the basketball team here. Wasabi, the winners of the undergraduate track. Woo! These 7 teams were chosen from 109 business ideas, guys. Let's do one final round of applause. Woo!
Each of the teams standing before you is already guaranteed to win $1,000 tonight. But 2 teams will take home a lot more. It is time now, ladies and gentlemen, to reveal to you the runner-up for the 2010 Duke Startup Challenge. And the runner-up for the Duke Startup Challenge this year is
Rex's Biomedical! Aaron, quick photograph. Let's do a photograph.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love this man. A true Dukey, he has an announcement to make.
So this is something that I just decided in the last 10 minutes, but sometimes you make quick decisions when you run a startup or when you're in the entrepreneurial lifestyle. I've been so impressed with the startups that I've seen here today, and I'm devoted to making Duke a better place for entrepreneurship, and I love the work that Howie has been doing there. Because of the Intuit acquisition, I am now an angel investor, and I wanted to commit to investing $250,000 over the next 5 years in Duke-founded startups. There'll be equity investments. So this will be great for Duke, but I've got to tell you, this is a very, very selfish thing for me. Because the pickings at Stanford and in Silicon Valley, they're low. This is an untapped, great resource for investors. And you're as smart or smarter than anybody at any university out there. That's all.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
The grand prize winner. So the winner takes home $25,000. The winning team also gets free office space in the DoHatch Student Incubator over at Pratt. The winner gets a paid MBA intern sponsored by the Career Management Center here at the Fuqua School of Business. And the winner also gets a startup legal package worth $5,000. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the Duke Startup Challenge 2010 grand prize winner is the blue. What? 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 That's all right.
Shalom, did you leave him with the computer? Woo!
Thank you, Blue Devil. Well, we got to announce the winner now. Money, you want money? $25,000? We'll do this one more time. The Duke Startup Challenge 2010 grand prize winner is Wasabi! Howie? Stephen? Steve? Thank you. Thanks. Good job, guys. Great job. Music. All right, guys. The night's over. Thank you for coming out. Have a great night.
Thank you so much, guys. Woo.